The Switch 2, we finally got it. I know I'm a little late to the whole Switch 2 party, but I had to talk about it. I just had to get it off my chest. I had to let it marinate. I had to critically think about how I felt about the Switch 2. And I finally have come to my final conclusions on my overall thoughts on the system. Because as I mentioned before, a part of me was a little worried that Nintendo would play it too safe. But the major question in my mind was, will people still care about the Switch 2 since now we have so many new portable consoles? We have the Steam Deck, we have the Portal, all these other random ones that have come out since then. But it looks like my worries were for nothing because people do still care. It seems like a lot of people are hyped on the Switch 2, which is dope. It's awesome. I think I overestimated how many people care about like the Steam Deck and underestimated how many people cared about the Switch. I think people just like the simplicity of having a Switch, putting the game in and it working, where the Steam Deck, you know, you got to have a Steam library. Some games work, some games don't. The Portal, you got to have a PS5 or a PlayStation Plus extra booster account, whatever it's called. And then there's, you know, having to be connected to the internet and all this other crap. But the Switch is just, it's easy, it's simple. You just slot in the game and it works. So Nintendo seems like they are not trying to fumble the bag, and they came up with a straight up sequel to the Switch. And my final conclusion is that it was the right decision. I think they had to not stray too far away from the Switch 1 and make it very obvious to consumers that the Switch 2 was a Switch, but better. So let's break down the Switch 2 and what we know about it. And like I said, we can compare some of the aspects to other portable consoles that we have now. Let me actually go grab it. Okay, so let's begin with talking about the design of the Switch 2. Obviously, it looks exactly like the original. It's a little bigger, which is good. And I like the black design of it. I think at least the one that they showed us looks really sleek. It looks like a major upgrade, which I think it's important that the system looks like an upgraded version, especially from afar. So I should be able to see the Switch 2 from a distance and know it's a Switch 2. I think that's very important. It has to be obvious to people that this is an upgraded system, especially if they wanted to avoid the issues that they had with the Wii U. Now, I really appreciate the USB-C ports on the top and on the bottom of the console. I think this is one of the best quality of life features they could have given us. I think it's the best one that we've gotten so far. Back stand that they chose is cool, but my concern is that it does look a little thin, so I don't know like if it's flimsy or how easily it will snap. I'm not really sure. But the USB-C ports, awesome. Being able to charge the thing while playing on handheld is super cool. And this is something that the Steam Deck and the Portal, they don't do. Very, very good on Nintendo for doing something better than the other portable consoles. That's something that they fixed from the original Switch. Now, talking about something that I feel like they did not fix was the design or the comfortability of the Switch. The Switch for me has been so uncomfortable. It's so hard to play for multiple hours at a time. And I'm talking about handheld mode. So, for example, the Portal uses the PS5 remote handles as like the grips for the Portal. This was good. It works for comfortability a lot. The system feels totally fine. It feels like you're holding a PS5 remote in your hands, and I think that it's great. This does not hurt my hands. Even though I feel like some of the buttons are weirdly placed, I don't like playing like first-person shooter games on my Portal. It just feels really weird to me, but third-person adventure games are perfect for this console. Obviously, like the Steam Deck and the Portal don't switch. I wish they would have done something. So comfort-wise, I do think that the Steam Deck is the most portable console that I've used. I feel like the grips that they have here are perfect, and they got the back buttons, which is really dope. Welcome to my ASMR channel. My biggest issue with the Steam Deck is that it's heavy as shit. It's so heavy. It's a big boy. But let's take it a step back. I know that the system is bigger, which is very good, and I hope that the bigger form factor makes a difference in the comfortability. So I'm not gonna like automatically write it off. I'm not gonna say it looks like it's super uncomfortable. I just like my Switch 1 and my Switch Lite don't do it for me right now. So it is a little bit of a concern, but I'm gonna get it. So I'll let you guys know how I feel about it. Overall, simple design, but it gets the job done. It looks like an upgrade from a distance, which I said is a really big deal. And my only concern so far regarding the design is comfortability. But obviously there will be add-ons and stuff that you can get to make it more comfortable. Like I know that, you know, but then you got to worry about like the grips and what case you get. You're kind of limited with the stuff that you could buy. It's a stupid thing to worry about. I know, but next up, let's talk about the Joy-Cons. So the Joy-Cons look almost exactly the same. Almost. Obviously they are magnetized now, so they don't slide off, rather they click to the sides, which is cool. Also important to note, the rubber padding on the joysticks is supposed to help with the drifting issue. So I don't know what it's called. The name escapes me right now. But let's hope that fixes the drifting issues, because that was a problem that we never solved in the original Switch. So good on Nintendo for doing something to help with that, because literally till this day it's a problem with the original Switch. I do want to know that this, whatever these are, worries me a little bit. It looks like these can snap off very easy. Obviously I haven't touched the console and I don't really know how thick they are. Looking at them right now, a little sus. So elephant in the room, the whole sliding thing that everybody's talking about on the internet. People are speculating that the Joy-Cons are going to be able to be used as mouses, which I think is freaking cool. Neither the Portal or the Steam Deck have any function similar to that at all. The Steam Deck does have like these little sliding square things that kind of work like mouses, but they're not that great, honestly. At least for me, I never really got the hang of them. I like this functionality a lot. I really like when Nintendo does stupid little gimmicks like that, because sometimes those gimmicks turn into like real things. Because like for me, this reminds me of like gyro. Okay, I love gyro aiming. I wish every single console had gyro controls, because gyro aiming makes so much Switch games better for me. Like gyro aiming is why Resident Evil is best on Switch in my opinion. Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 6, the Revelation games, if you haven't tried those on Switch, do it, because the gyro aiming hard carries. It is so good. Speaking of these awesome Switch games, Switch 2 is backwards compatible with the original Switch games. Actually, thank God. Actually, if you haven't already checked out my Switch game collection, check it out here. I'll post it right there. I have a lot of Switch games, so I'm very happy to see that I'll continue to be able to use them on my Switch 2. In on. Now, my big hope is that games run better on the Switch 2, like Zelda or Pokemon, right? I hope they improve the FPS and all that while running on the Switch 2. We can talk about performance and power in a second here, but my concern is how Nintendo will go about this whole upgrade thing. What do I mean? Well, it can either go in two ways, in my opinion. So option number one is going to be like the 3DS and the new 3DS. So when the new 3DS came out, it could play 3DS games better than the original 3DS. And it was something that they marketed. They told people straight up, hey, some of your 3DS games will just play better on the new 3DS. So that's kind of what we could see with the Switch 2. Hey, your Switch games will run better and look better on the Switch 2. Or Option number 2, they'll be doing what Sony and Xbox have been doing with their next generation consoles and charging the consumer for the upgrade. It doesn't always cost a lot. Usually it's like $10. You upgrade your PS4 version to the PS5 version and you get all the enhancements. But honestly, I think that's a little anti-consumer. It kind of sucks. So I don't know what route Nintendo's going to go about it. Obviously, I would like what they did with the 3DS, but it's Nintendo, man. You never know. Can't really compare backwards compatibility with the Steam Deck and the Portal, because the Portal plays like whatever the PS5 plays, and the Steam Deck plays like your entire Steam library, and can't beat that. Either way, I'm very happy about the backwards compatibility. Okay, moving on to power. So the leaks obviously have credibility now because a lot of them turned out to be true. And that means that we can expect the Switch 2 to have the power of a PS4. Not horrible, honestly. It's not that bad. I think Switch games look fine graphically. My issue is frame rate. I think they run like shit on the Switch. Oh, but it's not as strong as a Steam Deck. Dude, do people that have that argument actually have a Steam Deck? Because you don't need that much power. My biggest issue with the Steam Deck is its battery life. Yeah, games look great, but your Steam Deck lasts less than 2 hours. So I would personally be happy with something in the middle. I'm okay with weaker graphics, especially if my system lasts between 6 to 8 hours. And that's not even a lot of battery life. 6 to 8 hours is like the minimum, dude. I have a 3DS that lasts so long. Like that's how, I feel about it. Okay, I don't care if it's not as strong as a Steam Deck, but for the love of God, have a good battery life. Power really isn't everything, but it is important, okay? There's a lot of fanboys saying that I don't care how powerful my Switch 2 is, I'm gonna get it day one. Like, okay, bro, that's fine. Some people do care about power, and for those, I would say the Switch 2 just isn't for you, and that's okay. Back in 2017 and 2018, you did not have a lot of options for, portable gaming, but nowadays you do. You have so many different options, and if power is important for you, you don't need to get the Switch 2. There's other consoles for you. You might have to carry around a power bank with you, but that is literally the price you pay for power. It's not a problem. The last thing I want to talk about is whether I think the Switch 2 will actually be a success. So history shows a lot of Nintendo's sequel consoles don't usually do as good as the first one. And I think this is going to continue. I don't think it'll be a Wii U style failure at all. I do think the console will do well, but I don't think it's going to do as well as the original Switch. There's a lot of competition now, and portable gaming is becoming huge. It's like the biggest it's ever been. And from what I've seen on the internet, people's takes on the Switch 2 is like, please, they're happy. Nobody's like surprised. Nobody's taken aback. No one's offended. Everyone's pretty chill, and that's kind of what we expected, what we got. So it will succeed. It's going to be everyone's side console again, and only little kids will exclusively play the Switch 2. But it's honestly going to be in every gamer's best interest to own the Switch 2, because the games that are going to come out, there's going to be a banger game that you're just going to have to play, right? There's going to be Mario Kart 9, maybe a new Zelda game. There's going to be a Breath of the Wild style game that just blows the gaming industry wide open, and as a gamer, you're probably going to want to play it, so it's probably going to be worth to have a Switch 2. Actually, last thing, Nintendo, please stop these fucking games from coming out on last gen consoles and next gen consoles. Please let Switch 2 games be Switch 2 games. Do not have them come out on both the original and the Switch 2. The PS5 has been doing that this entire life cycle, and it's only made the system worse. It has literally only made the system worse. So please stop with that shit. It's up to you, Nintendo. Please make it stop. Anyways, those are my thoughts on the Switch 2. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys are hyped on the system. We are also on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're at like 850 right now. So if you want to help out with that, please consider hitting that sub button, hitting the like button, sharing this video, clicking on the other videos. Anything really helps, and I really, really appreciate that. Thank you. Hugs and kisses. Bye.